Mauro,
So we heard
your
that.
second question. You have one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. They all have three. So we will see how far we can get.
So we already heard of you that a few of you have worked all your career for the same company. And nowadays, I mean, yeah, our generation seems to be like job hopping a lot, changing about 2 years in a job, 2 years in another company. I wanted to ask, what made you stay on the same company for all your career?
That's an extremely interesting question because job hopping. We even counted the number of kangaroos we had in the schoolers, you know, jumping from one job to the other one in 1 year. We have them. It seems to be, for the youth, much more a challenge to move from the same profession, but then from company to company. Which is not the traditional way of doing with it. At least they will look to Shell. What is your opinion on job hopping? You give away your challenge to ExxonMobil or to Petronas? Or you?
Well, actually, we do. And I think what I would like to go and say, well, when I joined Shell about 22 years ago, the plan was to actually join Shell for only 2 years. Because I didn't know what Sarawak looked like, and I didn't know what rig looked like, and that offshore experience, didn't know what it is all about. So it's an adventurous, almost spurious of the moment, just go and did it. But 2 years became 5 years, 10 years, and 22 years. I think it's more about what do you get out of the, what kind of joy and challenge that you're facing with what you do. I think as you join the company, there's no single recipe of growing in this industry. You can choose to be in various organizations, and you can also stay within the organization and always getting different challenges to yourself. It's all about at least from my perspective, it's all about challenging myself on how far could I do things, how much better could I make it, and that continuous day and day looking back, have I done better today than I was yesterday? That keeps me going. Where I do it, whether in company A or company B, it doesn't really matter. It's just so happened I found the excitement in a company that I'm with for 22 years. So that's how this get to be. It wasn't a target to be in a company for 22 years. It's a result of the enjoyment and the challenge that you get.
Okay, thank you. Hinda, how is Schlumberger taking care of all the youngsters and challenged persons? And I think you have a lot of job turnover, isn't it? They start with you and then
I think
they
it's
disappear.
actually not that bad, but no. So I think in Schlumberger, certainly the way we look at developing people is about having access to multiple opportunities while still in the company. And our motto has always been having a borderless career, so why look outside if you can do it inside? And the concept of borderless career is essentially to be able to move geographically, to move within your own kind of expertise. If you're a technical person, you could move to functions, you could move into operations. So that variety and access and the possibility to actually be doing that, I think is a tremendous value. So personally, I've done multiple roles. I started as a field engineer working offshore, then I moved to engineering, then I went even to HR, and I was HR in the UK, then I went to technology, etc. So, and this is a typical kind of path you might have. So I think that possibility to do different things was very valuable to me, and it's something I really wanted and was very happy to have in this company. And when I look at some of the folks who studied with me and did the same sort of studies, they're pretty much spent the first 10 years of their careers doing the same thing. Now, they might have enjoyed it. It wouldn't have been the same thing to me. So I think the possibility to have access to multiple opportunities was valuable to me and is valuable to a lot of people in our company. And I think it actually retains a lot of people in Schlumberger. So I guess retention will depend on what the company strategy is in developing the talent. And it also depends on the individual and what really makes them tick. So if what makes you tick is changing roles, then if you're not in a company which does that, you might find it very hard to stay.
Thank you very much. All of you were shaking your heads or something like that. We agree.
Job hopping under one umbrella, that's what we've all
Okay.
been able to do. So.
Thank you. Ivan,
Yes.
second question?
Yes.
Try it.
I'd like to ask about the relatively low gas prices in the US. You've mentioned high level of demand growth that's forecast for the world in the next few years. However, the US price is quite low compared to the rest of the world. And do you think that poses a challenge for the global gas industry?
There are two main players, Shell and ExxonMobil. It has to do, I think, with the production of shale gas. Prices dropped to $2/MMBTU. That's half below cost, I think. What is your future thinking about, Emma? Prices is not on the table, but still, maybe you can give some hints.
I don't want to talk about price. I think because we can't do that. There are competition laws that don't allow us to talk about price in a forum like this. But I think what is a great story is that there's plenty of gas and it's abundant, and the cost of supply of that gas are coming down as we continue to learn how to produce it with better technology that we can deploy more cheaply, and that's a good thing. It's allowing things to happen that we wouldn't have even dreamt of, just a few years ago. Grassroots ethane crackers on the Gulf Coast. Everybody would have thought you were nuts if you'd suggested that 5 years ago, but it's one of the things that has come with the gas liquids that come along with all the unconventional development. So there's some great things that's allowing a lot of new jobs and new development in the US. Eventually, the US will have to move to higher cost of supply gas. Maybe everybody right now is choosing to drill where gas liquids come along with the gas because the gas prices are low. Eventually, people will have to move on to dry gas plays, and the cost of supply will rise and prices will sort of rebalance. But lots of gas production and all of the opportunities, that's gas exports and new industry, that's a healthy thing for this business. And we're all learning from the unconventional activity in the US and can take that technology to new areas where like Asia, like the coal bed methane in Australia, shale plays in China, etc. We're able to take those skills that we're developing in the US to other parts of the world. So it's a good story, it's a healthy story. Prices are low right now. That's almost because we've been too successful, but things will rebalance. This is a long-term business.
Your beautiful story in the United States, but how it looks in Europe? Go on, everybody is against it. The social media is playing a big role, isn't it? If it is concerning shale gas. I think there's a lot in Europe, but still, nothing is happening.
Yes, well, no, I think in Europe, Poland is already looking for shale gas. I think the results are not so successfully as in USA. France has, according to the prospects, good shale gas reserves. But, well, initially they gave permission to exploit it, but later on the French Parliament decided removing this approval and cancel the possibility. I think that UK also has reserves, so in my opinion, those reserves will finally be exploited because it's nonsense having resources and not using them. It is true that in Europe, well, there are differences in USA. Europe is more densely populated, so the problems or the inconvenience that prospects or the exploitation of shale gas causes, it's more problematic in very crowded areas, perhaps, than in areas where the population is more scarce. Moreover, using water resources. But I think that if companies fulfill the wise requirements in order to meet environmental problems, shale gas should be a very important asset for Europe.
Thank you very much.